Hello, everyone.
I always get so excited to talk and then I realize we're muting ourselves. Don't we all mute ourselves in one way or another? Okay, everybody, give us a big shout out so we can see who is here. Kaylin, we're so glad you're here.
Hi, Kaylin.
This is going to be an amazing topic because it's all about overwhelm. I don't think there's anything more important than talking about overwhelm.
Is this camera like squishing our faces like
I
this
don't know.
way?
It is what it is. Stretch it out.
Here.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we're just going to go with it today.
I'm like, who is that? Oh, it's me.
Hi, Christy. Is it rain? It's very rainy ass where we are here in Oregon coast as well. It is in Missouri. Carrie, we're so glad you're here. Bonnie, welcome. Kelly Verstraight, welcome. Leona, we're so glad you're here. Sunny Brockville, Ontario, Canada. Gotta love that.
Yeah, we have been here in Oregon for the last, let's see, 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been a wild weather land. When we got here, we got hit with a cyclone bomb, which I had to look it up because I didn't know what it was.
Sounds really scary.
I guess it could be scary. I get really calm in wild nature things. I don't know what that is.
It is. She does.
It's weird.
You should have seen when we were having the earthquake. When we had a few earthquakes in Salt Lake City
last year
at the beginning, before the pandemic really got crazy in Utah. And Tiff, like the earthquake's happening and we have a little wind chime hanging on the inside of our house because it's pretty, I guess. It starts clanging back and forth and we couldn't feel what was going on.
Our bed was shaking.
Our bed was moving. Tiff gets up and stands in the door jamb like the epitome of calmness. She acts like almost that she was made for natural disasters.
I can't tell you what it is, but the earthquakes were pretty huge and I felt calmer than I ever feel during the earthquake. I didn't have 1 ounce of fear during that experience or after, even with all the after effects. It is the weirdest thing about me.
It's very fascinating. It really is, because you're such a big, deep feeler and you're so vast in your energy, but any kind of experience where you have to have your wits about you, you get so solid and clear and calm.
Yeah.
And then we were without power for 3 days.
Yeah.
And after the earthquakes
and right after that we had hurricane winds. I don't know what they call
hurricane speed winds.
Yeah, it was like 90 miles an hour. We lost 7 trees and 3 of our big pine trees. One went through our house and I felt so calm. Even as I was watching the tree fall into our house, it just felt very calm to me. So I do not know what that is. And then when we get here, I'm like, oh, cool. So we're watching the ocean like rage, like a mad hatter. And I'm just feeling calmer and calmer and calmer. It is the weirdest thing. So I don't know what that is about me, but I just feel at one with nature, especially when she's a wild beast. And that's probably because that's how I am.
That is really the truth. I think it's so familiar to you. I was a
maybe
huge
it's because I feel like a massive wild storm inside most of the time.
Yes, I think that's it.
Maybe.
I think that's it.
And another thing that was really interesting is when we drove into Oregon and we're driving through the forests and the pine trees, I literally sobbed because I could feel the trees. I felt so connected to the trees. I felt stupid because I do not like to cry, even in front of Jack. Isn't that just the weirdest thing? But I'm over there going, and he's like, are you crying? I'm like, yes, I'm like overwhelmed with the trees. I don't know if I can ever go home. I feel like I need to live in the trees. And he's like, it'll be okay.
It is such a feeling here. The Pacific Northwest and the pine trees, the big, huge trees. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. We've been on a little working getaway. What's your take on a working getaway? Would you prefer a working getaway or just a getaway? Talking to you.
I'm thinking. I want both because I really do enjoy seeing clients and doing healing work and teaching and stuff like this in different places because I believe it gives an opportunity for other people to feel the vibration that we're teaching from. And then I don't know. I think I like having a schedule, which is really interesting because we're going to be talking about overwhelm today. And I have a very, very, very scheduled life. So does Jack. And we're going to teach you how, when you are in overwhelm, 8 things that you can do to get out.
Yeah.
Because we as empaths get overwhelmed very quickly. So for me, I feel like I really enjoy having a schedule, but I don't have the type of schedule you have. If I had to do what you are doing, I would be pissed.
Well, I knew when we decided to come last minute, we found a great beach, a place that we can see the beach. We're a good ways away, but we have views all the way around this house of beach and water and cliffs. It's just absolutely exquisite. It's been a little difficult for me. I really would prefer to have a little more downtime when we're here so that I don't work. But I do notice there's a lot of grounding that happens when I am seeing clients and doing the work that I do.
How many clients did we see in the last 6 days?
I think together we've seen 17, 18, 19 by the end of the week.
Yeah.
So it's been a big week.
Busy.
Yeah, we've definitely been working while we've been here, and it is very grounding. So the routine, and we'll be talking a little more about that as we move through the steps to help you really find your way through overwhelm. We know that you deal with overwhelm a lot as an empath. There's no way around it. You just are a deep feeler. You're energetically very, very deep in your energy. And that means all of your senses are more sensory. So you're always taking in more information. It's really important that you understand this about yourself so that you can be good to you, that you put yourself at the top of your to-do list, at the top of your priority list. Your relationship with you is your primary relationship. It comes first.
Yes.
Because that's where you have the most power. And then, of course, you know, the better you are to yourself, and when you get really good with your boundaries and all those things, then you'll attract more of that towards you. But if you're just putting yourself last, putting yourself at the bottom of the list, you're always tired and overwhelmed, and you think someone else is going to come and put you at the top of your list, it doesn't work that way, right? It just never will work that way.
Yes. And this just came to me while you were talking.
Ooh, I love that.
Many, many empaths are high sensory people. So they feel so much that just the mundane stuff can feel really like that.
Just like that.
How many of you really find yourself enjoying high sensory experiences? And when you don't have any, even if it's the negative ones, you kind of don't know what to do with yourself. Please share. This is something very common with empaths. So we do get overwhelmed because we set our lives up to be very high sensory. And this is something I'm really talking to empaths about. So if you're a person that needs to travel, or a person that wants to get out and have fun and laugh, a person that loves adventure, whether it's emotional adventure, physical adventure, this is very, very common for empaths. If you were to have to stay home and be in a pandemic, it can cause some trouble because we're so used to feeling deeply, and we wear ourselves the fuck out. I wear myself out continually. It's like hilarious. Jack and I have a lot of laughs because of my high sensory need. And thank God I have a high sensory need because I experience a lot of high senses doing all the healing work that I do, and all of the spiritual work that I do is very intense. So.
Okay, so some of the answers coming in. Feruza, yes, and Facebook user, not sure you are here. You said, Rita said, depends on how exhausted I am as to whether or not I can enjoy it. Kelly Verstrade, I'm extremely one way or the other.
Me too.
Belinda, I love those things, but not with lots of people.
Right. I'm the exact same way. I do not. However, I do like to go to a good party. And when there's not a pandemic, Jack and I have parties booked out for months. And I freaking love it. I take 2 shots of tequila, get in an Uber, and I am ready to play. It's super fun. Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's so true.
And Jack's like, can we go? I'm like, I just got here and it is time for me to have a good time. He's like, okay.
Introvert. Definitely an extrovert.
I'm an ambivert actually, but I'm more extroverted definitely than introverted. There's no question. Okay, before we get started with the topic today, I forgot to bring my Rebel deck cards. So what we're going to do is what we used to do all the time is I'm going to ask 3 questions, and I would like all of you to answer the question just so that you can practice being seen and sharing and relating to others on this strand. I'm actually going to ask Jack these questions while you're typing your answers in. He's going to be sharing.
This is so exciting, isn't it?
I know, I haven't asked you questions forever. It's like I know too much about you.
That's
we
right.
need to slow it down.
Oh boy.
Okay. Number 1 question. If you could be any dessert, now this is for you too. If you could be any dessert, what dessert would you be and why?
Oh God.
I don't know if I've ever asked you this before.
If I could be any dessert, I would be trifle.
Really?
Yes, because there's so many different, there's like a variety. Isn't trifle where you have,
I just made trifle.
we'll explain, like it has some berries in it.
So it has berries,
pudding,
cake,
bourbon
pudding,
alcohol for a good time,
cream.
I just really would like to be devoured. So I figured the more textures and layers and items, the more enjoyable I could. How much more could I enjoy being devoured than if I were English trifle?
So I made English trifle for the first time for our equinox party, our fall equinox party with our daughters. And
God, it was delicious.
You loved it.
Oh my God, it must be my roots that come from the Midlands in England that just gets me so excited about.
Okay, so let's see what people are
Okay,
sharing.
this is awesome. So chocolate cake for
Oh, I love chocolate cake.
Gotta love a chocolate cake. Strawberry rhubarb pie.
We
Tell
just
us who
had
you
that.
are.
We just had that here. I bought a whole pie and we ate it like in 4 days.
Chocolate, carrot cake.
Ooh, yeah.
So sweet and wholesome. Nice, Tiffany.
Tiffany, listen, I made this carrot cake for Easter. I always make carrot cake, and it has ginger, sugary ginger in it.
God.
Oh, it was
and
so
also
good.
It has the little currants.
And if you want that recipe, it's by Ina Garten. And it is the best carrot cake ever.
Yeah, it's good. Carrie Anton would be sex in a pan, LOL, because there's so many layers and it's beyond delicious. Belinda, cotton candy. Of course you're cotton candy.
Oh my gosh.
But I love
That's so cute.
And the way I feel when I eat it, like a happy free child. Rita said chocolate because, where did you go? Because there's a variety to suit any mood. It's healthy for you and tastes good too.
So Rita sent me in the mail a chocolate bar that had Pop Snap candy in it. And that was so fun. I ate the whole thing in like a day. Rita says she has a piece a day. I'm like, what?
A whole bar a day.
Yeah, I would
Tiff's
eat it.
way.
Yeah.
Linda said licorice ice cream.
I've never had that.
Interesting.
Leona
would be a Claire cake. All that creamy goodness. Ooh.
Yep.
Someone said Mexican sweetbread.
I've never had that.
That sounds delicious. Lorena, cheesecake.
Oh, Lorena, I love cheesecake myself.
And a tart tin with cream. And Belinda loves this question.
I know,
bet you do, Belinda.
Right?
Now, I mean, if you were asking favorite dessert, it's usually some kind of berry something. Like a berry, a really, oh God, no, everything Tiff makes. Like, honestly, I can't say I have one favorite because I just fucking love it when Tiff makes anything. I mean, even today, she's just baking a couple sweet potatoes and potatoes in the oven, and the oven's on. You can smell the warm potato flesh and the potato yum inside, getting soft and squishy. There is something so comforting in my life about having something cooking in the oven.
I know.
God, I married the right person, didn't I? Seriously.
You did.
Seriously. Oh, Jackie. Okay, Jackie from Northeast Oklahoma goes for the strawberry. She'd be the strawberry rhubarb. Hi, yeah. Cheryl. We're so glad you're here today.
Okay. This was fun. This was fun. Okay, number 2 question.
Okay. Don't look.
What was your childhood like? So, viewer, we'd love to know. And I'm not saying like a paragraph or anything like that. Just a few words that would describe your childhood.
Okay, my childhood summed up outside grew up on a 2,000-acre ranch right next to one of the most pristine fly fishing segments on the Snake River. Lots of quaking aspens, a few pine trees, lots of cedar and sage, mountainous with river bottom property where the house that I grew up in. I grew up playing outside, riding horses, walking fences, riding our bikes on the gravel road. My cousin Robert and I, we were 1 month apart in age, and he was my best friend of my soul growing up. And we just played outside constantly, always outside.
And you were always bossing him around.
Oh, I was the biggest fucking boss in the world. Like
is.
We would ski. We would get our little skis and we would hike up the mountain and ski down on our little skis. And if he wanted to go home, I'd stand on his skis with my skis and not let him go home unless I was ready for him to go home. Can you say controller? That would be me.
Thank God I don't wear skis.
Yeah, so my childhood was pretty wild and rugged. And oftentimes I say that I grew up like most of our grandparents that lived in rural places.
Yeah, you had a party line phone.
We had a party line, had 2 channels on TV, it was
and you
ate
everything
rural,
from the garden
or the land.
Yeah, the land. Your dad was a wheat farmer and a cattle rancher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, horses, cows, chickens, pigs.
And I am all about the cowboy, and that is why I married Jack, because the cowboy has some powerful skills at life.
That's so funny.
I'm telling you.
Let's see what people. Baby of 5, all girls, happy as hell. Who is that? Tell us who you are. Feruza, lots of swimming and playing. Did you swim in the oceans or the lakes or a pool or all of it? Rita, my childhood was all about working in construction with my dad. It sure was for you, wasn't it? Hello, whoever you are from Kawartha Lakes, Ontario. We're so glad you're here. Let us know who you are. We just can't see your name. Tiffany Rickards, my mama was strict, but we played outside all the time. Warm farms, kiddie pools every summer. My grandparents' farm fun in the sun.
Oh.
Belinda lived on a 6-acre ranch with my bio parents. We played outside and slept outside. We would sled. Oh my God. Sledding and ice skating, right? My sister and I did all this stuff with our dad. It was fun mostly. I'm the oldest. Jackie, horses, trees, raised by mom and grandma. Wow. Carrie, outside playing lots of sports with my brothers, cousins, and friends. Fruza, swimming pool. Okay, Belinda. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Okay, the last question of the day is, what is your favorite part of a romantic relationship? And I would like to hear from all of you. Even if you're not in one, I'm sure you've probably been in one before. What is your favorite part of a romantic relationship? And you can't be a perv.
Definitely the passion, the fire, the happy, joyful passion, not the fiery 2 Leos together in a relationship kind of wild, angry passion. Definitely the passion and the intimacy. Like really everything that I do feels enjoyable when we're doing it together. So I just really love my life in relationship. And it's really interesting because my biggest fear is that I would lose myself in relationship.
That's true.
And I say this often, and oftentimes you find I've found in practice and working with a lot of different men that typically the masculine energy feels pretty afraid they're going to lose their freedom. And so they may resist and kind of pull back a little bit rather than leaning into a relationship. But when you get in a relationship that is a true teamship and you're just totally madly, deeply in love with each other, I've never felt more free in my life.
Yeah, I remember in the beginning, it took you literally about 5 years to be all in. But once he was in, now I know if I ever tried to leave, he'd just hunt me down. He would like stalk me and ruin my life.
Better believe it all the way.
Yeah.
So that's what I just love I love the feeling of being so intimately connected to another human that whether we're watching a show or we're going for a drive or we're working through a piece of conflict, it feels better this way. I really, truly, like if we're going to be in a rainy, cloudy week together at the Oregon coast, I wouldn't want to do it with anyone but you. So that's what I love about it. That's
You're
what
so
I love.
good. I love you.
Belinda says, I love a good date and then to snuggle up together in the autumn under a minky for two. Honestly, anything Kelly and I do is the best. Everything.
That's awesome.
Carrie said, having someone to share everything with. Tiffany said, finding out what they love, their desires and wants. My husband's favorite color and his favorite food. That's awesome.
That's sweet.
Linda, hugging and touching. Feruza, the caring and trusting. Rita, real deep communication that is expressed freely and openly by both parties. That's so awesome. Kelly, the warm intimacy and feeling really safe. Lorena, good sex.
Yeah, sister.
I'm with you. Amy Zieber, making out.
And that is so fun, isn't it?
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Date nights, Lena, date nights, spending time together, cooking together. And then LOL, haha, I don't know who this is. Oh, Dawn from California.
Oh, yeah.
Asking me about my day, acting interested when I talk about my visions and dreams. That really cranks my gears.
Right?
That's
a really great point.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing. See, isn't that fun? The questions are always fun, and we get to know each other on the strands here. And also you get to know a little bit about us. We get to know a little bit about you. So I just love that so much. That was super fun. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about overwhelm and how to boot it out so that, you know, overwhelm's going to happen. It's going to happen again and again. But we're going to talk about a few things today and grab something new that you haven't thought of and implement it. Use it and see how it works for you.
So what is your personal definition of overwhelm? Please put it in the strand. What's your personal definition of overwhelm?
It's the feeling when my energy feels like it's pushing so hard, like I have so much pressure on the inside of me energetically that it's just going to explode. I have a hard time focusing. I have a hard time like getting present with what I'm doing. And I feel like I have 10 million things to do all at once.
Yeah.
That to me is overwhelm.
Overwhelm to me is a cluttered life. So it's too many things to do and not enough time. It's that feeling, that pressure of like, oh, I've got to get this done and this done and this done. And it is the feeling that I despise the most in my life. I don't feel overwhelmed a lot, but when I do feel overwhelmed, I have to do something about it because it literally ruins my peace and I can't stand it. And it makes me feel sick. Okay, so
here we go. It says Mariah, overwhelm is when I have so much going on that I cannot focus.
Right.
Rita said not being able to focus and feeling scattered. Linda, when things don't go as planned. Feruza, feeling of fearful future, feeling afraid of the future. Lorena, when I don't think I can do it all.
Good, good. Interesting, right? Can you see how we all have a different definition of being overwhelmed?
Belinda says when my brain feels big and having too many things to do and I feel like I can't do it all.
Yeah.
Sometimes overwhelm me. Yeah.
For you to know that we are vulnerable enough to share. It's really helpful to the people to read because some people will relate and other people will be like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that there was other definitions out there. We all have a definition of overwhelm. Okay. It's going to be different.
Too many around me.
Good.
I definitely get overwhelmed that way too.
Okay. Talk about what to do when you're in the middle of overwhelm to get out fast, like right now. Okay.
I think another thing really quick that creates overwhelm is having to make a big decision about something. It could be very easy to get overwhelmed, wondering if you're going to make the right decision, things like that. And I can also see that I'm a little bit low. So if for some reason we get booted off, we'll be back. Just hang out a minute and we'll reboot and come back into this thread. And so just hang out if something happens.
Okay.
Oh, Leona, heart racing and can't focus, Jackie said. Leona said too much on the go and then I feel very tired and then I cry.
Me too. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
So when I was little, I was the queen of overwhelm when I was a kid. And my mother was an empath and she was very smart. She had to design her life in a way that would work for her because she was a single mom with 3 kids. And so she had to do some things differently. So she really helped me understand how to deal with overwhelm. And she would always say to me, don't forget pieces, parts. And what that meant is you break everything into small pieces. So here is an example. you know, those little math papers that had 100 math problems.
Math drill.
Oh, I hated those. I would literally sit at the kitchen table to do practice sheets and cry for 2 hours because it just overwhelmed me so much. So one day my mom got a piece of construction paper and cut out a little square, and she covered up the whole thing except for one problem. And she said, do this one. So I did it. And she said, now scoot it over and do this one, and scoot it over and do this one. And pretty soon you'll be done with the whole page. Just don't look at the other problems. Just only look at one. And so I did that, and I got so fast. I was the fastest in the class because I learned how to break things down. So the things I'm going to share with you today are learning how to break things down. You may not have ever been taught this or even understand how to do this. So I'm going to give you 8 ways that will really assist you. Number 1 is to stop and take a break.
That was me earlier today.
Did you stop and
take
a break?
I did actually. I got up from there, went over and sat in a chair and just looked at the ocean and talked to you. And I really honestly felt my energy begin to just quiet back down. Yeah, I just get so overloaded, right?
So when we, oftentimes as human beings, and especially empaths, when we get started with something and we have all these expectations of other people on us, and the expectation will typically be more on us from ourselves. If you will stop what you're doing, just stop and go and do something else just for a few minutes, what you'll notice is that your brain will reboot, okay? And you'll probably go back and be able to figure out this, come up with a solution very quickly to your problem. I can't tell you how beneficial this is. It's like stop, it's like a beta interrupter for your brain. It's like stop. Go do something else. Go rest for 15 minutes. Go talk to someone on the phone. Go cook something. Go take a bath. Whatever. Go to bed because it might be midnight. Go to bed. Get up. And what you'll notice is that when you come back to the problem or the thing that's really bothering you, you'll have a lot more clarity, and it typically will work out pretty quickly. How many times have you experienced that?
Oh, you mean coming out of overwhelm by doing something different?
Yeah, and then coming back, and it's just
so
like
much better.
It just
it's
works
like you just have a
out
clear
pretty
brain.
quick.
Yep, all the way. Totally.
Okay, is there anything that we need to share? Okay, number 2, make a list and prioritize. And I would suggest doing this before you take on any project. Make a list of all the things that you have to do with that project or the thing that you're doing, whatever the project is, and then prioritize what's important and be honest, because I'm telling you, we put so many things into our life that don't even matter. Like, they're so ridiculous. It's like, why do you have to do it this way? Jack is pretty good at helping me do that. I get really mad at him when he's like, do you have to do it the hard way? You know, sometimes when I'm doing a big family party or something, he'll be like, let's do it a little bit easier, because I tend to go all out in everything that I do. And sometimes I just overwhelm myself, and I don't need to do it that way. I can change it up and prioritize and figure out how to make things easier for myself.
Lots of list lovers here. Yes. Something that really works for me because every day, you know, you're always working on a multitude of projects and different things, for me, at least in business. And when I come back into the start of my day, I identify the top 3 things that have to be done. Like, that is just a no option. These have to be done. And I list it out so that I'm aware of what has to be done. So that's a really great way to stay organized and on top of the most important things. That, or choose the one thing that I want to do the least and do it first.
Yeah.
And then I have the most energy to put towards it.
Totally.
And then I can go on to the other things that are easier.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Number 3, writing. This is where you can dump your brain on paper. And this is very helpful. I typically do the brain dump by talking to Jack. I'm like, these are all the things that are going on with me and what I'm thinking. Sometimes I think you listen to me and go, wow, that is a lot. And that's how I typically do it. But you can also do it on paper. So write everything out about what what's going on in your brain, what you're worried about. And what you'll notice is that when you kind of dump it out, it's no longer in here causing trouble. So it's very, very helpful. There are a lot of list lovers here.
I know.
I'm
look
glad.
At that.
I'm telling you, lists. I'm going to go more into lists coming up because it's so important. Okay, number 4 is to share responsibility. This gets very tricky for the empath because the empath feels like they are the sole fixer often, and you are not. The universe is actually your companion in your own life and also the companion of everyone else. So you can lean on the universe. There's a lot of things you can say no to because the universe will take care of it. It's not your job to be the universe. And you can delegate. I am a mastress delegator. So Jack and I, our whole life is like a team ship. Like we are partners in everything. And Jack has his things that he does, and I have the things that I do. And I
we're really
am
good.
Damn serious about
We're really good about not peeing on each other's paper in the process. Because once we take on something and we know that that's our commitment, we know that we can just trust the other person's going to do it, and they're going to do it their way. So once it's no longer on our list and it's someone else's, you don't have the right to tell them how to do it.
Yeah, I do not. Jack does all the business in our business. He builds the business. He works with all of the coaches. He is a business guru, genius guy. Like he's so smart, and I don't even go there. If he has a question to ask me my input on something, I will share it, and then I don't ever go there. Even when he's got this amazing eye for design. Everything you're looking at, he's designed. Like the design factors. He's just super
That's like
talented.
One of the things about me I really do love. Like I love design. I love and decorating a Christmas tree. Like there's just a few wacky
I'll be
things.
posting pictures.
There's a few things that just give me a lot of joy and pleasure that sure I could definitely hire, have someone else do it. But there are certain things I really do love to do.
Yeah. So when he does those things, I don't go over there because I really do trust that he does what he's going to do. And then I am most of the intellectual property. So I'm the one that writes the workbooks and comes up with all the lessons and does a lot of teaching in my area of expertise. And then he does a lot of teaching in his area of expertise. And then he also has to delegate to our employees. And so there is a way to live life by sharing responsibility. If you are used to doing it all, the people around you can get really pissy when you start saying, I need you to help me with this and this and this, but you can't do it all for a long period of time. It's impossible. So this is why it's like, it's okay to share responsibility so you don't have so much to do.
And there are definitely comments coming in, how hard it is to delegate, how hard it is to share, how hard it is to allow someone else to do something different than you would naturally want it done. And if it's something that matters a great deal to you, then just do it yourself. But if not, and you're willing to allow someone else to do it in a different way and see that you're not the God of everyone's world, you're just the God of your world, and you can do everything in your world your way.
Yeah. And I just speak to this because one of the all through the years with our clients that we have worked with, oftentimes have had a difficulty delegating because they're afraid if they delegate it to somebody else, they won't do as good of a job as they would do themselves. And I understand this. And sometimes you kind of have to step past that because in order for you to have a life that is not so overwhelming, you have to turn things over. Let me share this. Like we have a housekeeper, and I had to go through 4 housekeepers before I found a housekeeper that will actually work with me. So I let go 3 or 4 housekeepers before her because either they wouldn't be on time or they didn't do a good job or they broke stuff. And I just kept setting my intention to find a housekeeper I can work with. She's not going to be me. And I'm very, very good at cleaning. So she's not going to be like me, but I can work with her. And she's like, oh, okay, next time I'll do that. Or, oh, I didn't understand that and I'll fix that next time. And so That's the kind of thing you have to look at, because no one's going to be you. No one's going to do it the way you do it. So working with another person and letting some stuff go that really doesn't matter, it's a little tricky, but you can do it. And it's the only way that you can have less overwhelm in your life. If you're trying to do everything, it means you have a controlling issue where you feel like you have to be in control. Why? Because you feel like you're not safe in some way. So that's where your inner work comes in, to kind of take a look at some things and get some things cleared out so you can let go of having to control everything around you. Does that make sense?
All the way.
Is there anything we need to?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Number 5. Find like-minded supporters. So here you are on this page, and all the people in this strand are like-minded supporters. For those of you that are not on the Connected Empath and you're watching this and you're not a part of that, the Connected Empath is a fantastic way for you to find like-minded people that will support you because they understand you. It's really important that you find people in your life that understand who you are, and it will typically be people that are like you. Does that make sense? And that really is one of the reasons that we created our page. Is I was looking on Facebook for an empath group, and I went to 5 or 6 of them and left feeling so drained. I'm like, why are these pages so negative? And it really bothered me. I was like, this is supposed to be a place to support the healers of the world. And I'm like, well, I'm starting one. And it just happened to work out very well. And we have people that come in, and it's a wonderful place of support. It's a place where you can ask questions, a place where we teach all kinds of things at no cost. And you have a great support system if you'll engage. I mean, some people have a really hard time engaging even if they're on the page, and it just takes a little bit for them to warm up. But I mean, it is a great opportunity if you choose it for yourself, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And Tiff and Victoria, the moderator of this group, Victoria, you're so awesome, of our Connected Empath Facebook group, is we keep it super high vibe. Like, you don't have to worry about coming in and reading negative things, because this is a like-minded space for you to be yourself and to recognize the way you are is right, rather than constantly feeling like the way you are is wrong. And when you do that, when you feel connected and you feel supported in the way that you are by like-minded people, that just reduces the overwhelm, right? That's one less piece of overwhelm, one less thing to be overwhelmed by.
Yeah.
You actually get lifted up by it.
Yeah, that was our intention when we created it, is a place for you to come where you could read something or see something and not feel alone, number one, and to be lifted when you weren't feeling so great. That was why I was like, this has to happen. And it's just growing and growing and growing. So we're really happy about that. Okay, number 6, making your own personal rules, which is all about boundaries. How many of you feel like you march to the beat of your own drum? Please share. I don't know if I've ever met an empath that doesn't do things typically their own way, internally at least. I mean, empaths can get into codependency pretty quickly and start doing what they think other people want them to do. But by soul, they are like, yeah, I do things my own way. Okay.
Lots of yeses.
So what this means is you get to set your own rules for yourself. And when you do that, that's when you're setting boundaries. So it's like, these are the things I will do, and these are the things that I will not do. And making those decisions, oh my word, will down regulate overwhelm. Oh my gosh, it's so helpful. So what are some of the things that you do that you will not do? And I would like to know from you, our viewer, what is something that you absolutely will not do?
Well, something that I really pay attention to in my own life is my energy expenditure. So I know that if I want to be able to, maybe I am have a big long work day, but Tiff and I have something planned, like we're going to go to a nice dinner, or we're going to go get a drink and sit and just talk at the end of a long, great work week. So I save enough energy for myself to be able to show up and really enjoy. So I will not bring things into my day or my schedule that don't support my highest value, which is my connective time with Tiff. And I haven't been always really good at this because I would just burn the candle at both ends, and I would just lose myself and forget that I needed to pay attention to my energy and what I wanted to have energy for. What were the things that were important for me in my life? And I found myself just giving so much of myself away 24/7 that I was so at the bottom of my own important relationship list all the way. So I don't do things that I know don't support my energy at the highest level. And sometimes if I do end up doing something like that, then I definitely make a note to self, and I won't do that. And with us seeing a lot of, we have a lot of clients, a lot of students, I have to be very, very clear about my time and what I'm willing to do and not, and what I won't do.
Totally. I noticed there's not any answers coming in about what I will not do. I will not miss my daily hypnosis. Very good.
I won't make promises I can't keep. Brilliant.
Perfect.
Like this is one of the things when I met Tiff, she was so good at making commitments and choosing to do something. And I was very codependent at that point in my life and was always trying to just make everyone around me happy because that's what I thought I had to do for myself to be happy. It didn't work. So when I met Tiff and she's like, do you want to do this thing on this day? And I'm like, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can do that. She was like, why? It's your life. What do you have going on? I said, well, something could come up. And she's like, oh boy, we need to have a little conversation.
I was like, what? Well, of course something can come up. If it does, say I got plans.
And that's when I realized there is so much power in making choices for yourself and committing. And I love, was it Feruza? I won't make promises I can't keep. And now I will not say yes to something if I don't know for 100% I'm going to show up and do it. Right. I will not say yes to it.
Rita said, I no longer just blurt out yes. Now I say that that she's going to think about it and you'll get back to the people.
Brilliant.
That is so smart.
Brilliant.
Good job.
Brilliant. Annette, I do the same thing as you, Jack. If I can help it, I won't do too many things that zap my energy thanks to fibro. Yeah, right. Yeah, fibromyalgia, it's a lot of pain. And that's one of the beautiful things. You are very, very clear about where you will and won't put extra energy. Leona, I won't bite off more than I can chew.
Awesome.
Good. Trish, I will not go backwards from a lesson learned. Like I used to put other needs always first or be around people who are negative. Now I'm like, nope.
Good. One of the things that I will never, ever do is when I'm going out with friends or I'm not working, I don't talk about work. I absolutely refuse.
It's amazing.
Because I want to be with the people that I'm with and I want to connect on a deep emotional level. Work is work. Relationships are relationships. Like I really do break everything down into pieces. So I don't like to commingle things because it for me, it just makes me feel convoluted and there's some chaos there. And so when I go out to dinner with a friend, or Jack and I are out at a party, I don't pull out my phone. I put my phone away. I am very present in everything that I do. And when I'm at work, I'm at work. And some people are like, you are so different than when you're at work. And I'm like, it's because I have many hats. And when I'm at work, I think I have more of a masculine energy. I'm very driven. I'm right to the point. Sometimes I can appear to be quite abrupt. I'm a teacher, like I have to make fast decisions, things like that. When I'm out with friends, I'm laughing and having the best time and sometimes crying because I'm so happy or I'm hearing something from someone and I'm like, oh, I just love you so much. And I'm very different. And so that's one thing I absolutely will not do is talk about business when I'm out for pleasure. No way.
Another thing that, like, I think who was it that said about fibromyalgia? a net. And one of the things that gives you, and honestly, watching Tiff come through her brain injury, she had to you had to be so strict with the way you did everything,
Yeah.
because your energy was so limited, and you created a whole structure that absolutely works for you, so you can show up for your clients, for our students, in a way at the top of your energy game. But if you weren't impeccable with your time, your sleep, and your boundaries, and that you see clients through Voxer rather than face to face or in person, because you know you have an energy bandwidth that you have to be very good about and pay attention.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing to watch you create and design your life your way. And that's why you, as an empath, all of you, need to be very clear about what you need on the daily to support you at the highest level, so that you can show up. And you're going to have different energy requirements because you're so sensory, because you're pulling in so much information all the time. You may need a mid-morning nap. You may need a second sleep. Tiff doesn't ever see a client before noon.
Right.
Because she knows she's going to be up at 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30 in the night, doing all the downloading, all the things that she does. And she is going to have to sleep again so that she can get up and do the rest of what she has to do. So we are giving you carte blanche permission to put you and your energy first. And we're also going to remind you that the whole universe has your back. So what you want is you're going to find a way to bring it in and enjoy it. And if you want to be able to have a second sleep and start your workday at 1 o'clock, there is a way for you to do that.
Yep, totally.
It's only our thoughts that get in the way. But that's another conversation.
Empaths are very, all of our students and clients are very considerate of me and very respectful. And I appreciate that so much. And I think sometimes when people first come in and start working with us, they don't realize how good I am at taking care of myself and my own boundaries and things like that. And they learn pretty quickly.
They'll push. Some people will push and try to get you to do it a different way. And you're like, no, I won't.
And I really do respect everyone's time, and you really do have to set your own rules. That is just really one thing across the board with empaths, is they're like, I don't really fit in anywhere, and following the way everyone says I should be doing something is just really hard on me. And it's because you're not meant to do it someone else's way. You're meant to do it the way that works best for you because of your sensitivity. So you have to design a life that really supports your sensitivity. And, you know, Jack and I can really speak to this because we have designed a life that supports our sensitivity, or we would never be able to do what it is that we do. There's just no way.
No way.
Yeah.
Absolutely no way.
And sometimes we get out of balance.
Yeah, we do.
And we have to recalibrate and go, okay, and do all these things that we're telling you right now.
Yes, we do.
So this really is how we live our life. And we know this works because we're doing it. And that's why we're sharing this today. Okay. All right, you rule makers. Number 7, get rid of unneeded distractions, which I think all distractions are unneeded, but there's some things that we enjoy that aren't absolutely necessary. But I'm talking about, you know, the extra chaos in the world. Get rid of the things in your life that are taking up space that don't need to be there. And you're the only one that can say what that is.
Right. Lorena just said, I'll pay someone to do the heavy lifting stuff.
Yes.
I will find the money.
Yes.
I injured my back last time I moved because I could do it all.
That is so
brilliant.
Smart.
Brilliant. And when we finally make these hard lines for ourselves, the universe says yes. The universe says yes. But as long as we think we can do it all and we have to do it all and it's up to us to do it all, the universe also says,
yes.
Okay.
Okay, if that's
but
how
that's
you want
what we're
it.
doing. All right. But the minute we're like, I'm fucking done doing that.
Yeah, and
like,
Tiff and Jack are like, stop doing that.
You're like, I'm not moving.
You don't have to do that.
We'll just keep reminding you because, you know, there's a way for you to really design your life your way. This is your life. This is your movie. This is your script. No one else gets to write it.
No. And
just you.
You know, when you're getting rid of distractions, what are some, okay, let me ask you this. What are some of the things, if you'll share one thing that you have in your life that you're like, I really don't need that anymore? I just want you to really think about it and lay claim to it here on this strand. What about you? What's something in your life that you just really don't need anymore?
Oh, I know one thing that I don't need, that I've needed a good many years, is to be the hardest worker I know. I grew up on a ranch. Like work was our religion. Plus we had religion, but work was it. It was the top echelon of value. The harder you could work, the longer you could work, the more you could push yourself, the more you could do it all yourself, the better of a person you were. And I'm done. I don't need to feel to find my value by working hard. And this has gotten so clear for me as I've, being an entrepreneur is a big, big cookie to chew. Like it just has a lot of facets to it. And the more I get into it, the more I'm doing my inner work, the more I'm looking at my shadow and getting really clear on what my shadow is pushing so that I can feel free and powerful and value, and the pain that I have to go through in order to have that because of my shadow. Oh my God. I want a joy-filled life. I want to be able to work when I'm working and have plenty of fun all around it. So it's not just about work. And that's huge. That is so up for me right now in my life. And I get to do it my way. So there's an answer to this. And I'm in the process of living into the answer right now.
I was trying to think of something because I'm always letting things go. If it distracts me, I'm like out. I've gotten so fast at doing it. But one thing I remember when the pandemic was going crazy, and here in the U.S. With the election with Trump and Biden, I felt like I didn't have enough knowledge, and with Black Lives Matter stuff, I just didn't have enough knowledge about what was actually going on. So I was watching the news every day for a couple of hours, and I started to notice that I started feeling really not well emotionally, and a lot of fear was coming in. And I was watching a reputable source that I felt like was telling me the most honest thing, but I was kind of getting lost in a lot of politics and the pandemic and all that stuff. And after healing from my brain injury, and I'm still in the process of healing some things about within my body, but I started to recognize I'm not feeling very happy. I feel more afraid, and I'm getting a little catastrophic in my thinking. So I released the news again, because I never my whole life watched the news because of what it would do to my energy, and knowing that most of the news out there has to sell. So they're talking about,
it's all spun.
It's very fear-based and all of that jazz. So I let that distraction go, and my energy got so much better immediately. And I have not engaged back in that again, because I know that my reality, my personal reality, is exactly what I want it to be, because I set my intention, and everyone else has their reality happening. So some people are miserable, some people are sick, some people are this, some people are that. I choose to create my own experience, and I don't need to focus on the fear bombs that come from outside in the world of like how everything's coming to an end, because our life is very, very abundant and happy and great in most ways. So that's what I choose to focus on. The things that, are really important to know, like if there's a cyclone bomb coming, I would like to be prepared for that. So I will definitely get a little bit of news so that I understand what's going on, but getting lost in it, that's one thing I had to do. So we always tell empaths, if you're a big news watcher, you might want to scale that down because there's a lot of stress that comes from that.
And I just have something to say from the angle of mindset about this very thing. Like you chose to let go of, you chose to pick up the news for a minute, so you could get educated in the ways that you felt moved to do. And then you let it go when it no longer felt resonant with you and you could feel energetically it was draining you. Well, something that I choose to add into my life is a belief. And the belief is I will always know what I need to know when I need to know it.
That's right.
Period. And I've been holding on to, I chose this thought. Like, I know that my thoughts create my reality. So why not choose the thoughts to support you at the highest level? And because I was someone that had a great FOMO, fear of missing out, I knew that I needed to shift my mindset into something that was much more empowered and supported me at a higher level. So I picked up this thought of I will always know what I need to know when I need to know it. I cannot tell you how many things have dropped into my lap right at the perfect time.
It's true.
And it allows me to let go of so much of the worry of trying to stay on top of all the details, because yes, I have some perfectionistic nature inside of me. But the truth is, I seriously have been so supported. And therefore, I don't have to focus on watching the news every day. I just know if there's something really important for me to know, I'm going to know it when I need to know it.
Absolutely.
And it's changed my life. And I chose to believe this. And it plays out left and
then
right.
When it does play out, it's
I know it. I'm like,
easy to believe it.
Yeah, it's like, here we are. This is like a piece coming in for me. And I'm going to take action on it quickly because I can feel that it's perfectly aligned.
It could be friends. It could be people in your life that minimize you. It could be things that distract you. It could be video games. I mean, it could be a million different things. You have to decide what is a distraction for you. And I wouldn't suggest trying to take all distractions out of your life. I would just do one thing at a time until you feel comfortable. And then if there's something else, then take that out. Because remember, I break everything down. And more than anything, I really am all about adding things in that bring joy to your life, because it's easy to add things in that feel good than to constantly feel like you have to take things out.
Yeah. Yes, right.
Okay.
I'm so glad that you made that point. And that's kind of where adding in a mindset piece, like a new mantra or a one-liner. Belinda said, that's one of my more 40 manifestations, that I won't miss a thing.
Good job.
The More 40, Belinda just shared about the More 40 in our Empath Rise and Thrive group coaching program. That's a year program incubator for all things empath empowerment. And we have a couple challenges that people are doing. One is the More 40 Prosperity Challenge. And Belinda, good fucking job.
That's amazing.
Right? God, I can't even tell you enough. When we add in these very empowered thoughts by choice, you change everything in a positive way on purpose. And this is all about overwhelm, right? So that'd be number 9 or what other number. Pick a motto, pick a one-liner that makes you feel safe and supported and empowered, and say it over and over and over, and you'll see it coming in.
Okay, the last one, number 8, is be mindful. This means choose your life on purpose. Don't just take what you get. It's be mindful. And one of the things that we run into often in our practice is that people are really attached to being busy, and for other people to know that they're busy because they feel like it gives them value. I think, Jackie, you were talking about that.
I lived so many years of my life that way.
Mm-hmm.
So many years.
And you're not here to be busy. You're here to live a joyful life and on purpose. And, everyone has busy days sometimes. That's fine. But when you're living in a perpetual state of busyness, you will wear yourself down and out. And it is not what you should be doing for optimal well-being. Okay. Designing your life on purpose is taking a look and saying, what do I want to create in my life? And what am I willing? And this is where your boundaries come in, your rules. It's like, what am I willing to do? And what am I not willing to do? And if you do have a busyness attachment, it's time to get some clearing work done and get rid of that belief that I am only of worth and people will only want me or love me or like me if I'm busy doing busy. Many of us have had this. I don't know what that comes from. Well, I do. It comes from a lot of different sources.
It comes from culture, it comes from religion, it comes from all sorts of family.
Yeah. And since my brain injury, I learned how to live a life on purpose.
You had to.
And it took a lot for me to get there because I was seeing 6 clients a day. And now I have cut that down immensely so that I have time to read, and I have time to rest, and I have time to think, and I have time to cook, and I have time to have meaningful conversations or go out to lunch with someone that I love, and to build those deep emotional intimate relationships of my life, that I have time to be with my husband and be rested and travel and come to the Oregon coast and experience a cyclone bomb. Do you know what I mean? So, my friends, this is a very powerful lesson today, these 8 things, because they will help you minimize overwhelm, kind of down regulate it so that you can actually feel more well-being. This is all about living a life of well-being because you are here as a gifted healer on this planet. Just your very presence heals the world. It's not like you have to go out and be some person on stage and do what Jack and I do.
Or you can.
Or you can if you want to. But your presence on this planet is healing the planet. And it's important, if you're going to be that presence in the world, why not enjoy life as well as what you bring in for other people? We are, as empaths, are really great about bringing joyful experiences to others. Why are we not having those experiences with ourselves is my question. And it's because we get too overloaded, overwhelmed. These 8 things will help you immensely. I want you to listen to this show again. I hope you took notes. If you didn't, take notes the second time.
And listen to the podcast version, which we're going to record right after we hang up here. We're going to get back on and same topic, but you're going to hear different versions of it, different things, different stories. And we're not going to have you right here with us, which is always sad.
I know. This
listen
is funner.
Listen to the podcast because this episode will air next Tuesday. That's how it always works. It comes out the Tuesday following. And it'll be another opportunity to remind yourself. And Annette, I just want to say, Annette said, I can't even have a quote unquote normal job without getting sick. So I'm looking for a way to bring in income without leaving home. I promise you there's
an answer.
More than one way to do that.
Yep.
And there's a way that will feel aligned to you. And I want you to know this is there for you. All you need to do is what you're doing and open up your mind to believe it could be possible for you to have it your way. Right? That's it. And we start opening up the possibilities, look for the synchronicities showing you new opportunities, lean in, follow up on the things that start coming into you. You can find a way. Money wants to find you. Abundance is all around us and wants to come into our experience.
Absolutely.
Every day. So we've got this. It's so wonderful being here with each of you. A quick little shout out. We do have coming into the Connected Empath. We're running the I Am Grateful Challenge, and it's in our Connected Empath Facebook group. It is the whole month of November. We're asking you, you can pop into the Connected Empath Facebook group. I did a video about it today. We have a PDF so you can check off each of the days that you're going to be posting your gratefuls into, and it's a guided grateful journey that you're going to share different gratefuls every day and post it in the Connected Empath. It's going to be a wonderful month, just a wonderful month
of gratitude and deliciousness.
Yeah, so join us there. Everyone have the most beautiful day ever. It's amazing to have all of you join us here and us to join you right here from the Oregon coastline. In this, it's rainy and windy and
we're
foggy.
Looking with this whole house is a house of windows. And we're looking at this gorgeous wild
forest
ocean.
And
it's
birds
just
and
beautiful.
ocean. It's just beautiful.
It's just beautiful.
We love you very much. We're very appreciative that you would spend some of your time and share your energy with us. It means a lot to us. We feel you. We really feel you. We look forward to the days that we get to see one another in person, because I do believe there will be a place and time where we get to actually give each other a hug and say, hey, I'm Firuza. And I'm like, oh my God, there you are. It's going to be amazing. So we send our love to you. Remember that what you want wants you. The entire universe has your back. And so do we. We're here. Go gobble up some dessert first, because life is meant to be devoured. We're Tiff and Jack, and we will always come back. Bye. See you soon.